Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a new episode of Watch Out for AGI, where we go into deep dives on AI, SaaS, AI products, the news of AI, what is happening in all of these companies that are raising tons of money, where are the trends going. It's super fun to ride this wave, Emrick. I'm truly happy to be alive in this era. Things are just moving so fast. I've already said it in the previous podcast, in one of our first. There's a guy who tweets every week, "This week in AI." It feels like that list is growing every week. This is a new thing that came out.
Specifically on image generation, it's such a fun and entertaining topic. I'm really pumped to talk about this today.
Today, we're going to be talking about image generation, the different tech that's available today, how to get started, where to not spend your money, where to spend your money to start. I have a few subscriptions myself that touch on image generation. I have a bit of feedback. I think Emrick has as well. Our previous podcast mentioned a bit on the subject, since we did talk about video gen. Thinking about it, it would have been better to do image gen before video gen. But we just jumped the gun on that one. We just went straight for the video gen.
Yeah, every modality is interesting. It's fine.
The first time that I seriously used image generation, and I think a lot of people out there started their journey with this, is MidJourney. I tried using MidJourney when they were just a Discord app. You would send prompts over through Discord, and you would wait in these endless queues. The free products would make you wait forever. You would see all these very cool generations from people that are generating. I just didn't understand the products, so I stayed on the free plan, and I didn't get the experience. I got a really wedged experience. Emrick, did you use MidJourney when it came out on the Discord app?
Yeah, you mentioned Discord. I think what can be shocking for new people coming is like the Discord medium. I think at first MidJourney was mostly used for like nerds. It was mostly used for roleplay, avatars, and that's why Discord at that moment was amazing. Like it penetrated the market at the right moment and with the right customers. And since then, actually, MidJourney moved out of Discord. There is an app. When you started and was building a business, the UX from Discord was a bit troubling to use. Also, you were able to use it sometime. You had to click on messages that a bot would send you back. Confusing UX at the beginning.
Yeah, today it's much better. The app is really well designed. I like how things work. There is a click to add to your prompt that makes it very easy for you to attach profiles, mood boards. There's also a personal training session that they make you do when you get on the paid plan. I went through about 250 photos where you would click on either I like, I dislike, or I don't care about it. That creates your personal style, which is supposed to help you like everything that you generate, I guess. Even with my 250 photos that I have used to train the model, it is not perfect. I started paying this product about a month ago. So I don't know. We're at 6.1. The model is called, and you send in a prompt. You send in these variables, file ratios. So 4/3, 9/16 to get your different ratios for generation, and then you can attach a profile. So if you like some guy's work, you can use their profile, their mood board on your prompt and generate as good of an art as them. I find that community-based app to be a really great thing when you're starting out and you don't know what the heck to expect. I was able to generate a lot of cool stuff. By the way, for those who don't know, the cover art for this podcast was a MidJourney generation. I love it a lot. It looks really clean, really cool. We might change it up a bit. Emrick, have you tried the new app? Have you seen how to prompt? There's all these things on how to prompt online right now. What is your opinion on the new?
I think when it started specifically, I think with GPT 3.5, a ton of people were already using GPT to generate prompts for MidJourney, because prompting MidJourney is an art. You need to specify the ratio, you need to specify the time it has been taken. You need to specify what the subject would look like. It's really an art. I think I've seen prompt for MidJourney that are like 1 page of prompt. Are you getting better at it? Because now that you're paying, I guess you have to get better at it.
Now, to be honest, I think it's going to take a bit more time. I've been playing around with it, but the deeper you dig, the more difficult the prompts get to completely control. I use a lot of the prompts. I think that if you're a starter, the starter tip right here would be to connect yourself to x.com, go to ImageGen, go to the prompting. You have a lot of people that are posting their prompt as their tweet, and in their comments, they're putting their results, and the community is using the same prompt with their profiles and showing their results. And you get to see people that are very good at it and how they got to it and discussions. I think that the entire sphere is on X. And I had a few discussions with a few guys there. I said, man, mine look a bit strange. The guy says, yeah, that's because you did this, that. I was like, okay, wow, this is, yeah. So you start to learn with the community, and there's a big community. So if you want to get into image generation, if you're not on X, you should definitely get on there.
You mentioned the most known project, and MidJourney is the best. Like, MidJourney is the state of the art, but I want to mention like 6 months ago that there was that new model that really changed the scene called Flux. And Flux was one model that you were able to run locally. And I'm always talking about these local models, but what's amazing is that you could get like something really close to MidJourney, but locally. And in addition to that, I want to mention that this model specifically can be customed. The same way that you can fine-tune an LLM, you can fine-tune a stable diffusion model. Let's say you want all your picture to look like Pixar characters. You can create something called a LoRa, and the LoRa, you can apply this LoRa to all your pictures. I actually have a friend that is building a Twitter clone where when people are tweeting something, there's an image that is added, and it's proposing you to add a specific LoRa to the generation. And what is adding personality to the image that you're creating. So I just want to say that it is a really vibrant ecosystem right now. And websites like civit.ai allows to find all the LoRa's, all the models. And if you actually want to toy with products that you want to generate, on civit.ai you can find a ton of inspiration, but also a ton of tech.
I saw what Flux was able to do. It's called Dark Forest. These are models that you can get from Hugging Face, right? So
yeah,
you can run this locally. You can run this on the cloud. If you have an app that uses Flux in your workflows, you don't need to pay any proprietary tech. You can get that out there. For those of you that don't know that one, you can get started immediately with that. I've used Flux a bit to upscale images. Is that correct? Taking an image that is of a lower quality and making it hyper realistic. You can take a model that generated an image that looks pretty trash. I'm gonna name drop here. The DALL models have been stagnating. I don't even know if they're working on this project anymore. I'm exaggerating, but what comes out of DALL, man, is very low. The style is terrible. You can take that and put it into Flux, and you'll get things that are interesting, a bit better. So it's probably, a cheap way of getting high quality stuff.
When you mentioned upscaling, and you're absolutely right. If we come back years before, NVIDIA during gaming added these new features. I think it's called DLSS, and it allows to, on the fly, to allow you to run a game at lower resolution and automatically upscale it. And so for the same computing power, you would get just a higher resolution. And it's used in a ton of products out there. Let's say the product of one famous Xer, Twitter, I don't know how to call this guy, but Peter Levels has this product called Photo AI. And I think he's using upscaling a lot because he will basically create an high detailed image, but in a super small resolution. And it will save him so much computing by keeping a low resolution. And then it's going to upscale. And usually the upscaling is way cheaper. So that's how people are usually saving on money and creating super high fidelity image with nothing.
And that is very important to have high quality image, not only for the image itself, but usually the image is just the beginning of your project. You are either creating a video, you're gonna post to a social media. It's really important to have a high quality base to create, for example, your videos, because otherwise hallucination can get started. I've done a few video gen with Runway AI, Runway ML, where
I see you're mentioning photo to video models, right?
Yeah, I'm saying that if you're going to use a photo in a video flow, when you take a photo and you make it a video, if the photo is a bad quality or some areas are not very clear to it, then the hallucinations start. So there was like a candle that disappeared on one of the generations that I was doing of an interior design. A candle would appear and disappear. That was because the image itself, it was not clear if that was a candle or not. So it's super important, this Flux thing. Flux is a very, very interesting project. There are other ones out there called, so there are other products out there that you can use, like Adobe Firefly. I've used that one as it's part of my Adobe plan. They give you credits, I think 250 credits per month. I have tried it. It is not ideal to me. It was not very convincing. I also tried their video gen. The thing failed on me. To be honest, it failed on me twice, and I was like, okay, that's a wrap. There's one.
Let me ask you, when you say it fell on you, what do you mean? What is it like because the image is bad?
The video literally did not generate.
Okay, that's another level of not working.
There is a thing that Adobe does very well. It's a use case that they own. They own the flow from end to end. Is image generation inside an image. It's super difficult to do if you don't have the tech for it. So in Photoshop, you can take a segment of your image, like a wall, and add a shelf poster on the wall. That would be generated only in that little area, and it will take the surroundings, and the wall will stay the same color, and it will just add a poster to it. That is amazing. I've seen use cases of this where we can do it here, Emrick. Like, well, we can't literally do it here because I'm not in the right studio, but let's say you have a white wall behind you, right? And let's say you don't move outside of your boundary. So if you need to go to the bathroom, I'm sorry, Emrick, you have to sit in front of your screen on this one. And let's say that you have only white. You can film your whole video inside your house and then take a screenshot of one of the frames in your video and put it into Photoshop. Drag the boundaries of your image 2 times, 3 times the size of your image itself. So above, to the left and to the right, usually not below because your legs are probably there and you don't want to mess with that. And say, generate me a podcast studio. Generate pretend like I'm in a studio and I'm a big podcaster. I'm a big, YouTube person. It will generate something that looks like you're in a massive warehouse or whatever, but you always stay in that little square. You have all these creators that sit down and they talk from one area. This video is possible thanks to this flow. It's super, super interesting.
Yeah. I see more and more YouTubers that are doing this.
Yeah. And it's very credible. And you can put neons on the wall with the name of your show. You can put whatever you want. I saw a guy, he put bicycles, he put motorcycles and everything. And it was like, wow, this guy is in a workshop. He's in a cool area. No, the guy is literally in his basement, man. That is a flow of video. That is a flow of image generation that is only doable with Adobe's Photoshop today in at scale. I've seen products, Flux also has one where you can generate something inside your photo and things like that. But Photoshop is a known product that has been around for 20 some years. And for creatives, it's not that difficult to start generating image inside. And I think it is a huge opportunity. I hope that it's not too late for them, because when it kind of came into this a bit late, everybody was talking about image gen. I don't know what is the usage of their Firefly technology inside their products, but I'm super hyped about it.
Is it a financial advice? Should I invest into Adobe right now?
I never give financial advice. I just win, and I just tell people about my wins. And whenever I tell someone about something, the stock usually tanks. So, but I did buy Adobe, and the thing hasn't been moving in I don't know how many years.
I think there are other players that are also actually eating the market share of Adobe. I think you presented me, and we talked in another episode of the podcast, but Pika.art. Recently, they added an amazing feature that uses image generation. Let's say you're on a beach and you want to take a selfie video of you, and with pirates following you or chasing you, I don't know, you want to create a show, and you can take MidJourney, create a pirate image, and then you're going to insert it in the feed of your video, and it will automatically generate like pirates chasing you and taking the context of your running. I don't know. Right now it's popping up on Twitter. I know a guy that is like only showing insertions for like a week, but it looks always amazing. Like you can generate 3D effects, but like Hollywood level. I'm not like Hollywood level effect from just image generation and then Pika.art. I think we're on the verge of like a complete revolution of Hollywood, to be honest.
That is, it brings us back to our first episode, where it's not so much about the model, it is about how you chain your flow. So we will approach an LLM in one way with one product, and we will approach it in another way with another product. Each product has its use, has its way of flowing, right? You can use both products and generate something absolutely insane. And the model has nothing to do with, I mean, it does have something to do with it, but it's the way you chain, it's the way you put the prompts together. It's what you crop, it's how many seconds you generate, it's the frames per second. These are things that are going to make or break a AI product, and not so much the model.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Usually people call a product a model, but it's exactly what you said. It's a pipe of multiple models.
We were just mentioning this one right before the pod, is that founders today are all looking for their moat, their IP. You said IP. There's some people in the stock market, they call it alpha. It's like your value, your differentiator, what makes you difficult to replicate. And people say that rappers are very easy to replicate. I think that has been debunked. I don't think you can replicate rappers easily. When you try to replicate a rapper, your product at the end will have a different feeling, and it's either going to be a make or break. If we continue to use Adobe or we go through Pika, it will be on the quality of the chaining. It will be on the output that comes out of it that you will decide. And Pika is a brand new product, and Adobe has been around for years. So yeah, these rappers are seriously mixing up the game here today.
It's all about UX, and we were talking about Discord. Some people really love Discord, actually. So the first mover advantage of MidJourney here was to use a proven and tested UI to create something as simple as just generation of image. Though I would like to talk a little bit about the image and about the fact that usually when you look, and even right now, when you look at an image that's generated through the best models out there, sometimes it's hard to understand that it's real, like if it's reality or fiction. But I would say we still have a little bit this uncanny effect on, I would say, 80% of the image that are generated. And that's why me personally, in my flows, I am still hesitant of generating all the images. I was hearing 2 years ago that all the stock let's say iStock, all the stock companies, stock footage companies, where it would be overflown by AI. It's not there yet. I'm still using a lot of stock footage for my image and my video YouTube generation. What do you think about the quality of the images, even right now?
So, as we said, quality can get to a very, very realistic point today. Flux is very advanced, and I've seen a lot of people do macro photography with it and generate things where you're looking at, and it gets to a point it's even too realistic. It looks like over realistic. I don't know how to say it. You would see a person's skin problems by looking at the photo, and if you zoom in, since this image is high scale, you see in detail the problem someone has on their skin. I don't think that that's how photography works in the real world. When you take a shot, we know that if you augment the number of pixels on the sensor, it's not correlated to the quality of the image, because after that, the aperture, if the person moves during the shot, like these are realistic things. If adding more pixels does not make a photo more realistic or like you're there. We've already come to that point. We already know that around 20 megapixels, an image is pretty much the same as 60, as 100 and whatever. The images that are generated, we've gotten to the point where you can't get more realistic, right? It has all the data it's generating. If it's uncanny today, it will always be uncanny, I think. That's my opinion.
There's two things that you haven't talked about. I think there is two problems right now that I face a lot. When you want to generate text in an image, it's usually still quite unreliable. The moment you want to generate, like, I don't know, let's say Trump and behind people doing a strike about a subject, a topic, every time you will have text on these images, immediately it screams AI. And I also gave the second example about Trump. If you want to generate Trump on most AI models, so let's say Imagen from Google would not generate an actual figure. So it's also a struggle that sometimes the filtering in a ton of AI models that you cannot generate something that would represent an actual person. So the filtering and text, it is sometimes hard to use for real usage, and specifically on video generation, talking about real events.
Can I come in with a different perspective here? As an entrepreneur, you're starting your company today. You're in tech, or you have a tech part to it. You don't want to spend all of your time creating a blog post. You need a blog in your website. It's proven today that you need to communicate to people what you do and everything. If you write a blog without images, the blog automatically sucks. And if Google sends you to that blog, people will just leave. Your bounce rate will be really high. So it's inevitable that you need images. Now, if you use stock for images, great, right? That takes time. You have to pay for stock images at some point. It's very time taking, right? You can probably get away with illustrations, right? I'm just going to get an illustrator to make illustrations. Man, those people cost a lot of money, right? So as an entrepreneur today, I go for this kind of semi world where I'm able to use image generation to generate my stock images, right? And I know that something that screams AI will scream AI and you won't get the point. That's what we were talking about in the previous episode about voice AI. If you're thinking about it being an AI voice or not, you're not listening to the guy's message. So I generate illustrations with AI, not ultra realistic photos. Usually it's a 3 to 4 color SVG model. So on Twitter, when I was scrolling, I saw this guy saying, it's the end, whatever, AI is going to take over the world. And this is a game changer. Look at this, SVG generation. We talk a lot about images. What about SVGs? I took a look at the product. It's called Recraft. And I purchased that subscription in the first 5 minutes that I used it. It is probably one of the most used AI features that I have in my flow as an entrepreneur. And I'm able to generate illustration without paying an illustrator. This segues into a product review-ish. I would like to talk a little bit about this product, Emrick. Have you used Recraft?
I didn't use it myself, but you showed me the way you use it for Rent Remote. And yeah, it's really impressive how the merge of UX and consistent image generation can change your workflow.
The images that are generated, they look playful. They look like they were done by hand. And they're not perfect, but by hand, things are not perfect either. You can choose colors that you want to use with it. You create a palette. You say if you want to have it dynamic, simple, eccentric, and you select the number of generations that you want, as well as the proportions of the image. And then you're off to go. You just put in your prompt. I am reading one of the prompts here. A modern remote worker counting stacks of cash at a sleek desk surrounded by laptops and monitors. I think that one I used when in my blog article, I was probably talking about how much money you make as a remote worker or something. And the image that came out, if you look at it, it doesn't bother you that it's AI. You don't know if it's AI. You don't know if it's done by hand or whatever. But get that out of the way. Let's talk about the blog article. So it gets the job done. It animates your blog articles super cheap. I think that it's below half a cent per generation. It's extremely cheap. And this gets the job done. So I can only tell you guys, as an entrepreneur, guys, Recraft is your go-to application. If you don't want to hire any illustrator, if you want to get a quick branding done, if you want to generate images for your website that are good enough to get the job done, and you will redo when you raise $100 million, this will get you to your first, 10 million before your first 10 million raise. What do you think, Emrick? Can you run a company with this kind of quality of branding here?
No, what is important when you're building a job is being able to iterate fast, being able to try new things fast. And I think what I am seeing in this example is that you're able to create new design really fast, showing it to someone. So I think it will just enable your startup to be more efficient at the beginning of the creation of a startup. So yeah, I just think you're creating value for early level startup by being able to iterate that fast.
In general, my opinion is, in this era of AI, this is the era for the solopreneur. If you're a solopreneur, it has never been a better time to be a solopreneur. You don't need to pay half the people you needed to pay before. This is over, guys, for the beginning level illustrations. If you're a beginning level illustrator, done, gone. We don't need you anymore. We can do enough with this SVG generator, for example. And what I really like about this product is you can export to SVG, you can vectorize things. It is really great. So guys, check it out. It's called Recraft. We're not at all sponsored by these guys. If I had found this one earlier, I would have saved a lot of iterating on bad marketing and images for my blog articles. Now everything is done. And I talked to too many designers that I would have paid too much money. Anyway, I didn't go with them because I'm a cheapo. But yeah, that's why I wanted to bring this product up. It's in the PhotoGen sphere. And they also have an API. So if you're building a app with proprietary code on the front-end side, you don't need to host anything on your side. You can just call an API and put in a prompt and generate images straight in your app. You don't need to go to the Recraft app. And they have tons of styles. Go check it out.
I just want to emphasize for people that are listening to this podcast, it looks like a Figma. So it's also highly collaborative. So you can iterate at the same time on like a new design that are generated immediately. It will definitely unlock like amazing collaborations in early stage startup.
Oh man, it's I don't even know. They built a really solid product. It's one of those things where you start it and you're using it, and there might be something out there that's better than this one, but I will never know because I'm already fixed. This solves my issues, right? And so I started working on this one with a colleague of mine at our startup, and we were able to collaborate easily with this and create styles together and create consistency. So let's say you have a few designers that are working together. If they have the same prompts, if they have the same styles, they can work collaborative and generate the same style as they work together. Because you might have a problem where you have two designers that have different styles and things just don't work. Now the colors are all working together. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, I think this wraps up a little bit for listeners that want to understand which product to use. I think it's about your usage. You should not just run on any tool, but depending on the tool and what you want to use it for. Like Recraft is a good example that someone that want to be able to design, to iterate on UI, on different images for their websites. And this is really all about the UX. In the end, the image generation itself is not enough. Do you want about consistency? Do you want to generate specific images? Like, I would say we are not anymore at the period where we just use MidJourney and you're expert at MidJourney. You get here products that are highly specialized into a certain workflow, and you should probably focus more on the workflow.
Yes, absolutely. I've been trying a lot of things, and that's how I'm aware of what I need. And this also creates use cases in your business. If you continue to try things, you change your flows constantly, and things start to free up tremendously. Emrick, that Recraft is what I use too. Do you use anything on your side that is worth talking about?
Right now, in terms of image, I am not good enough. So that's why I was happy. I am a local guy and I'm using a lot of Flux and LoRa's specifically. But I have to recognize that sometimes I'm losing time into the special tweaks of the models and everything when you have amazing products that are like just focusing more on the UX. So I think this podcast made me think about rethinking the way I'm working with image.
Absolutely. I don't know personally the guy, but I would like to have a guy over. I have a friend who met him in an event before he started his product. Very funny. My friend was talking to him and the guy was like, yeah, we should do something. We should build something in AI. He's the founder of Krea, KREA.ai. That company is really killing it in terms of putting models together, using Flux while using, I don't know what other models. They integrate multiple models to a editor. And this again is an instance of the wrapper that has more value than the model itself. Not more value, but people go to Krea and people want to buy time with the model through the wrapper and not directly. I would love to have that guy on. I'm going to ask my friend if we can have this person on our podcast to talk a bit about image gen, video gen. They're also doing video gen and how they built their product. I think they have 4 engineers and they are ripping it in terms of revenue. It's just a quality product, man. It looks amazing. We didn't talk about that one, but we can get into that one in a product review. We did a miniature product review today. I hope you guys liked that. We can do a deep dive, maybe a video into a product next time. If we missed out on your favorite image gen tech, don't hesitate to hit us up on our socials. We have them in the episode description. If you like this podcast, if you want to share it with your colleagues who are working on this subject, please do.
Continue, guys, to write to us with ideas of product. I love to read it out.
Thank you, everybody. See you in the next podcast.